I am taking Frodo and Luna, and this in the middle is my neighbor's dog Guzzler. And I'm still not feeling it 100%, but it is a gorgeous day, and we're gonna I won't call it a hike, I'll call it a mosey. We're gonna go mosey through the woods and look for signs of spring. Well, this is gonna be challenging. I just passed the other end of the trailhead. I'm at Old Sauk River, which is a favorite of mine. A great place any time of year, really. And the other trailhead was packed. So I drove to the main trailhead, a little worried, but I'm the only car here. I've got a real late start, but it's a gorgeous day. It's supposed to be in the upper 60s back at my house. And it is about 60 here. Looking for signs of spring is the theme of today. But as I drove up a little closer to the trailhead, I did see patches of snow on the ground still. If you do this whole trail, it is 6 miles, but we're not going to do the full 6. I've got my neighbor's dog Guzzler, like I said, and I don't think he does a lot of hiking. No way he could do 6. I do have my Kurgo, so I can put a dog or 2 in the back. And yeah, if we're lucky, we'll see some trillium or some skunk cabbage. Those are some of the earliest. I did see skunk cabbage on the drive out. And I don't know if you can see it, but this little deciduous tree here, this little bush, it's got buds coming on its little branches. They're just kind of shining in the sun. So just come along with me on this slightly dog-heavy meander through the woods. If you can hear that song sparrow singing. And then I can hear a faint droning roar, and that's the Sauk River, which we'll be up to soon. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Okay, when they're all walking, oops, and then they've stopped. It's actually pretty fun seeing all 3 of these little guys go through the woods. There we go. I have to stop every few seconds because they were braiding the leashes. Oh my goodness. I tried again. I posed him on a log. I'll put a picture at the end. And Guzzler's not used to posing on logs like mine, and he just backed right off the other side of it. It's like, I don't know, a little traveling circus going through the woods here. Looks like they've done a lot of work on this trail. They've cut a lot of blowdowns. Some probably pretty recent, but also shoring up the trail. And this is a pretty flat trail. It's really negligible for elevation gain. So for an easygoing hike, this is a pretty good choice, and it has the payoff of being able to walk along the river. And then even if you didn't, this forest is just gorgeous. Look at the moss on this stump. It covers the top and then it just drips off like icing on a cake. That's so beautiful. You can see the Sauk River through there. And I am up on a kind of a hillside here. I'm gonna wind my way down to the river. Okay, I am super bad about identifying trees, but I know my evergreens on a very broad sense. So if you look at the evergreen and you've got these single needles coming out, and they look flat, like they come out on each side. That is, I believe, a hemlock. And then if you look at it and you have more of like these single needles coming out from the stem, and it's kind of a bottle brush, you see how it's round? That's going to be your firs here. And then if you look at the needles and they're more like scales kind of overlapping, this guy's a little cedar. And I don't have an example of a pine. We don't have a lot of pines here, but those are going to come out in groups of needles, different number of needles in each little group. So that's super, super broad sense. And don't ask me about a spruce. I need to learn a little more. That might be similar to a hemlock, so I'll look into that. But I know some of my trees, and I have a goal to get better at that, especially at the harder to identify ones, the deciduous trees in the winter when they don't have leaves. And here it is, the beautiful Sauk River. Is signage on this trail. It has the Murphy Creek Trail, which I'm not sure how far up that goes. Where we came from is the end of this loop trail. And then the north parking lot that I mentioned earlier that's full is this way. And we're gonna just walk towards it for a little while until I feel like it's time to turn around. But the rest of this hike will be pretty much on the banks of the Sauk River. And these guys are just having a blast. I love seeing, I mean, it's sad to see a tree down, but I love seeing the way that the boulders are all clung in their roots. This is a really rocky root hole here. This tree just hanging on to the sand and rocks along the riverbank. Wow, the sun on the water is so pretty. Look at this. Gorgeous. I've seen eagles along here in the past. I haven't seen one yet today. It's so hard not to film at every viewpoint. And this tree might not be a trillium flower, but it has buds all over it. So we're definitely seeing those signs of spring I wanted to see. When I say braiding the leashes, this is what I mean. Look at all that beautiful green moss. So pretty. Look at these cool reeds. There's a bunch of them here. This little like low wetland kind of area. Look at all the moss and ferns on that one. I'm about 1.2 in, and we're going across this dry stream bed. We've kind of moved away from the river actually, so I guess it doesn't follow the river the whole way, although I can still hear it. And I don't remember if it goes back over to the river. I thought it did. It's been a while. We'll find out. These guys are doing great, so I'm gonna just keep going. I want to get at least 2 miles in, and I've got that now by the time I turn around. So we'll go for 3, see how we feel. back along the river. And this glorious sunlit woods, just dripping with moss. This is definitely one of my happy places. There's some new leaves forming on this bush. Splashing along. At first glance, you might think that this is just a tree, but when you look closer, you'll see that the tree that's alive on top, which is a hemlock, is perched on a nurse stump. And the nurse stump, you can tell by these big slots, was old growth that was cut by loggers way back when they cut in this footstep. And then they got up to where the trunk was gnarled and then cut it where it was straighter. We are unfortunately about 1.5 miles in, and that is going to be our turnaround for the day. So we got one look at this beautiful river at our turnaround, these pretty mossy trees against this gorgeous blue sky, almost a summer day, and we're turning around, hiking upstream. So this is just an out and back hike for us. Same scenery on the way back that I showed you on the way in. If I see anything of interest, as usual, I will start recording again. Otherwise, I'll meet you back at the car. I should have mentioned we were in national forest land here. So multi-use, dogs allowed. This particular trail is just hiking. And while I'm thinking about it, I forgot to hang up my tag, so I hope I don't have a parking ticket when I come back. The sunlight through the trees is just something else. We're at 2.8 and I can see the car. A few more cars in the lot that we parked in now. What a beautiful hike this was. That was 2.87 miles round trip and 71 feet total elevation gain. Beautiful hike, just the most beautiful spring day, the best, warmest, sunniest day of the year so far. I don't know if it made my COVID feel any better, but it sure made my heart and soul feel better, and it was really good for the dogs to get out. I hope you can get out and enjoy wherever you are as well.